Rama Rama. Namaste everyone. I welcome you back to session 3 of Samskritasri Pathamala 1. Today we'll be doing SamuktAksharAs, and if time permits, we'll start the simple words, construction of simple words. We'll see if we have time for that. But first let us begin with Mangala Shlokaha. Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vikhnopashantaye. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnuhu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jnananandamayam Devam Nirmalasphटिकाकृतिम् Adharam Sarva Vidyanam Hayagrivam Upasmahe. Saraswati Namastestu Veena Pustakadharini Hamsavahanamaruhe Vidyadhanam Kurushvame. So far what we have seen is the components of the Devanagari script, which are the swaras, then the vyanjanas, vyanjanas or consonants, the ayogabahas or the auxiliary letters, the gunitaksharas or combinations of consonants with vowels. Today we will be seeing the samuktaksharas, which are combinations of consonants. So the swaras are 13 in number, 5 which are hrasva swaras and 8 which are dirgha swaras. Hrasva means short, a, e, u, r, l. And dirgha means long, a, e, u, r, a, I, o and au. Next, the consonants. We saw that consonants are the ones which have to be pronounced with the help of swaras, and they are divided into two categories, the vargiya vyanjanas and the avargiya vyanjanas. The consonants are also called hal varnas. Just like how the swaras are called ach varnas, consonants are called hal varnas. The vargiya vyanjanas are those which are in groups, namely the kavarga or the gutturals, chavarga or the palatals, tavarga or the linguals, tavarga or the dentals, and pavarga or the labials. The kavarga letters are ka, kha, ga, gha, and nga. The chavarga letters are cha, cha, ja, jha, and nya. The tavarga letters are ta, tha, da, dha, and na. The tavarga letters are ta, tha, da, dha, and na. The pavarga letters are pa, ha, ba, bha, and ma. Then we have the antasthaha or the semi-vowels ya, ra, la, and va. The sibilants are sh, sh, and sa, and we have the aspirate ha. These two together, that is the sibilants and aspirate sh, sh, sa, and ha together are called ushmanha. Two other things we saw was how the consonants are divided into the hard consonants and the soft consonants. The first two letters of each of the 5 vargas and the sh, sh, and sa are hard consonants. The remaining consonants are soft consonants. Another classification was the ones with more breath or air, which are called the mahapranas. The second and fourth consonants in each row of the grouped consonants, that is kha and gha in the first kavarga, cha and jha in chavarga, tha and dha in tavarga, tha and dha in Tavarga, ha and bha in Pavarga, sha, sa and ha. All these are Mahapranas, which means you have to pronounce them exhaling more air from the mouth. The others are Alpa Prana, which means less air. So these are the classifications of consonants that we saw. Vargiya and Avargiya Vyanjanas, Karkasha and Mridu Vyanjanas, Alpa Prana and Mahaprana Vyanjanas. Then we also saw the Ayogavahas, the first of which is the Anuswara, which follows vowels, any vowel, and it has a nasal sound. For instance, with a it is with e it is im, and so on. Next is the Visarga, which has a h sound. When it follows a, it is aha, and when it follows a, it is aha. With e, it is ihi, and so on. It is represented by two dots like the colon symbol. Then there is Jihvamuliyaha. The Jihvamuliyaha is nothing but a Visarga, but when it comes before k and k, it is pronounced as k and k. And the same thing, the Visarga, when it comes before p and p, it is pronounced as p and p. So these are the auxiliary letters. Okay, so next we saw the Unitaksharas. Unitaksharas are nothing but combinations of consonants with the vowels. We saw the example of the first consonant, which is k. So when there is a slanting line written below, it means it is a pure consonant. So when k is added to a, we get k. When k is added to a, we get ka. Similarly with e, it is ki. So how do we find out, how do we write k? We don't use any extra stroke, just the k is written for the when the akara is combined with the consonant. When the akara is combined, there is an extra vertical line on the right hand side. With e, it is ki, and there is a line in the front and a curve above. With e, it becomes ki. There is a line with a curve above. With u, there is a curve below the letter, and it is pronounced as ku. K plus u gives ku, that again has a curve below, but of a different kind. With r, there is a small English alphabet C kind of shape below the letter. It is kr. Ik plus r, kr. Ik plus r. This is the long rikara or the dirgha r, and it has an inverted 3 written below. So it is kr. With l, you just write the l below the k. That's all. So the pronunciation will be ik plus l, kl. This is a hrasva swara. So you get a short, it is pronounced for a short duration. Then we have k plus a, k plus I, kai. For k, there is one stroke above the horizontal line. For kai, there are two lines, slanting lines above the horizontal line. Plus o is ko, and here there is a vertical line next to it. It is, or it also has a slanting line above. Then we have plus au, kau, where there is a vertical line and two slanting lines above. So this kind of change in shape, is this is similar for all the vowels which are added to the consonants. So you do similar modifications to all the consonants based on which vowel is added to it. Then you get the Untitled. Now, I had given as homework that you should write the Varnamala. I had also given you an audio file which you had to write down in your notebooks. I hope you have done that. So let us check the first 5. If anybody has any questions regarding the homework or any doubts, you can raise your hands or you can type it. So I think someone has the question, ma'am, what was the homework? So the homework will be uploaded along with the contents of the slides of that class. In the previous class slides were uploaded yesterday and it had the homework. So some of you have asked some questions. Let me address them. How do we pronounce the consonant L with R? So the L with R is pronounced as R. And I had somebody had written to me an email asking if there is any word in a famous shloka which has this pronunciation. I cannot right away think of anything, but in Samskrita we have the different tenses for which we use the words lrit, lring, etc. So we just have to pronounce l with r together. That's all. So it is lr. I hope the pronunciation is clear. Then how to pronounce the consonant ng with r? It will be ngr. You have to start with the ng and you have to pronounce the r sound also with it. So ngr is the pronunciation. Okay, so why only ka, kha and pa, pa we have jihvamuliya and upadmaniya? Actually, this concept of jihvamuliya and upadmaniya, we won't be using it right away because we won't find any words with that jihvamuliya symbol or the upadmaniya symbol right now. When we go to an advanced stage, we will be using it. But the point is that jihvamuliyaha and upadmaniyaha arise out of the positions of the mouth when the pronunciation of a visarga before the ka or kha or pa or pa, it happens to be like that. So based on the position in the mouth, the pronunciation is unique and there is no other change that the visarga undergoes. That is why it gets a unique name and a pronunciation. Otherwise, there's nothing special about it. Okay. Why consonant in book is not having subscript? Oh, okay. So the consonant in the books are the consonants are written with the akara, as I had mentioned to you. In fact, I had shown you the slide where the consonants, all the consonants were written with the akara. So you only have ka, kha, ga, gha in the book, whereas the actual consonant is only the k, etc. But because it will be difficult to pronounce, we are writing the k and we are also pronouncing the k so that you identify the sound better. So the first one was ikara. I hope you have written this. Please check your homework and you can correct it. The next one is r. If somebody can volunteer to read, it will be nice because you will have more participation that way. You can raise your hands if you are willing to read, and I will unmute you so that you can read. Bhargavi. Bhargavi, you're self-muted.
E, R, L, K, Y.
Yeah, you should say K. There should be,
K.
you should get, yeah, good. K with air coming out of the mouth is the second K of the Kavarga. Very
Okay,
good.
ma'am.
Thank you. Chandra S. Chandra S.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes.
Yeah. Shall I read now? From
Please.
6 to 10, isn't it?
Yes.
Au,
Yes.
bha, ha, a, tha.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Next. Ganesh, 1, 2, 3. Ganesh Mahodaya. Yeah, I think you're self-muted. Ganesh Mahodaya. Yeah. Can you read? Ganesh Mahodaya. Can you please read? Okay. I will unmute somebody else. Giri Bhargavi.
Ma'am?
Yeah. Can you read, please?
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, ma'am. F,
Yes.
N, Ch, Sh, G.
Yes. This is G with air coming out of the mouth. And the first one is H. You should read it as P and H distinctly and not as F. In Hindi we say F, but in Sanskritam it is H. Can you say it one more time? Can you read the first letter one more time?
H.
Ha. And the last one is G. Thank you very much.
Ma'am, H.
G.
G.
Yeah. Thank you. Then the homework for 1.2. Again, if somebody is willing to read, you can raise your hands. I will unmute you. Harshita Venkateshwaran. Yeah.
You hear me, ma'am?
Yeah.
Hai,
Yes.
Hu,
The second one is not clear. Can you repeat it one more time?
Ju,
This is new. New. It is like NY together. New.
Nu,
Yes.
Gu,
Gu.
Gu,
Yes.
I, and Ga.
T and Ga. Yes, very nice. Thank you. Janvi Satish.
Rama
One
Rama.
minute. Ram.
Dr.
Yes.
Ri.
Very nice.
Tha.
Yes.
Do. And
Yes.
Chow.
Good. Excellent. Thank you. Kalyani Mahi.
Namaste, Mahodaya.
Namaste Ram. Yeah. Can you read?
De,
Yes.
Dra,
Very good.
Dhi,
This is Thi, the short Thi.
Di, Bhi, Ho.
And Ho. Very good.
Dhanyavad, Mahodaya.
Dhanyavada. So that is the homework. There is more. Pathamala Venkataraman. Yeah. Can you
Sha.
read Ram? Yes.
Ram, Sha,
Yeah.
Lai,
Yes.
Me, Pu,
This is also my because there are two lines above. It is my,
my, Pu,
who.
Yi, Ti,
Very good.
Yi.
This is ye. If it is a thi, it would have had a break in the
Right.
pulse.
This is very there. Yi.
Thank you so much. Very nice.
வாங்கப்பா நான் வரேன் என்ன கேட்டுட்டாரு கேட்டுட்டேன் இது நல்லா வாசிக்கும் இது நல்லா வாசிக்கும்
Okay. Now we will go to SamuktAksharAs or conjunct consonants. We had already seen that there are 5 aspects of the Devanagari script, of which we have seen 4 so far. The vowels, consonants, and ayogavahas and gunitaksharas. This is the 5th part, which has SamuktAksharAs. These are combinations of consonants without intervening vowels. That is, consonants occur next to each other and there are no vowels in between. So why should we study them separately? Like, why is it that we won't be able to write a pure consonant with a slanting line below next to each other? And why do we need to study them separately is the question we ask. In Sanskritam, when consonants are combined, their form undergoes a change, which means that they are not just written with a stroke underneath next to each other. Their shape or the form itself varies according to the other consonant with which it combines. So you need to be familiar with the different combinations and their forms. That is why we are studying them under a separate head called SamuktAksharAs. Actually, in the textbook, the SamuktAksharA section is in the 7th lesson. but we are taking it up now so that we become familiar with the different consonants, their forms, and how they change when they combine with each other. And another thing is that the same two consonants, when they combine, will give rise to more than one combination, or they may be able to combine in two different ways, in the sense that their shape may be different. So we will be seeing that sometime later. But this is why it is important for us to become familiar with the way in which a consonant and another consonant is combined. And third is, in most cases, we will be able to recognize the consonants which have combined to give you the SamuktAkshara. But sometimes, like this nya, where there is j and there is ni. So j and ni gives you nye. And then there is ksha. Ksha is nothing but k and sh together. So you won't, from this shape, you will not identify a k or a sh which have gone into the making of this consonant. That is why we have to be familiar with the components of a particular SamuktAkshara. 3 reasons. 1 is that they undergo a change in form. 2, there may be more than one correct way of writing it. And 3, that they become sometimes completely unrecognizable. So we will give you an example. SamuktAksharas, as I told you, are consonants which are not separated by vowels. Where do we find them? Take the word Krishnaha. Krishnaha. What are the components of this word? There is a first, we have the k. K is a consonant, which is a pure consonant. Then we have r, the hrasva r kara, which is a vowel. Next we have sh is a consonant. N is also a consonant. This is followed by an akara, which is a vowel, and the akara is followed by a visarga. So in Krishna, so many letters have combined, out of which sh and n occur next to each other, immediately after each other, without an intervening vowel. So they are called, such a combination is called a SamuktAkshara. The SamuktAkshara here is sh and n. What has happened? The sh has undergone a change in shape. If you notice, the vertical line which is here has disappeared, and this n has been written right next to it. So this is the SamuktAkshara, where the first letter has undergone a change in form. So we can write the word Krishnaha like this: k with a r. So this is kr, sh with a slanting line below to show that it is a pure consonant, and na, which is n plus a, and the visarga naha. We can write Krishnaha. Na is a gunitakshara. We have already seen it. When the consonant combines with akara, there is no other stroke which is involved, just the letter is written. So Krishnaha is also a correct way of writing it, but you will not find this form anywhere. Mostly in all the texts, you will find only this form, or the Krishnaha, where the vertical line of the shakara has been suppressed. So we will learn some guidelines as to how these different consonants can be combined. That is what we are going to learn under SamuktAksharas. For this, we are again dividing the set of consonants into 4 categories. Okay. The first category, out of the 33 consonants, 22 of them, which means a major portion of them, have a vertical line following it. So the consonants have a vertical line at the extreme right hand side. Like the second consonant kh, g, and g and gh. These are all the kavarga consonants. Ch, j, jh, and nya, the chavarga consonants. Na, the tavarga consonant. Th, th, dh. I'm just pronouncing as dh, th, etc. with akara for me to be able to be audible. Otherwise, these are just th, etc. So all these n, p, b, bh, ma, ya, va, sh, sh, s, all these have a vertical line in the end. So when these form SamuktAksharAs, the vertical line is to be suppressed to combine them with the immediately following consonant. An example is given, plus he is he. So to this, if you add a yakara, akara, it will become here. So k plus e is k. This is how we combine it. The vertical line, which is at the extreme right, is suppressed. This is for the first set of consonants which have a vertical line on the right. Now in the textbook, the l varna is given under the third category of where there is no vertical line. But we see that there is a possibility of a vertical line here which can be suppressed, and the l is written like this. The l, the vertical line disappears and it combines with the l plus the l. In this case, the vertical line has been suppressed in order to show that it is a pure consonant. This is the first section. The next type of consonant as far as the script is concerned is the k and h varnas. The k and h varnas, where there is a vertical line, but there are strokes on either side of the vertical line. For k and h, you have strokes on both sides. So in that case, what do? They appear with a slight extension beyond the vertical line. You don't write the full k, you write it 3/4 of it. Like you write this left hand side, you extend it a little bit to the right hand side and suppress the remaining portion, and that will indicate that it is a pure consonant and it has to be pronounced as k and not as k. The example given is k plus ma or k plus m, km. I will pronounce it as ma itself for ease of pronunciation. K plus ma, kma, p plus ta, ta. So this is how you deal with the second set of consonants, which are k and h. Then there are remaining consonants, which are n, ch, t, th, d, dh, d, r, h. So all of these do not have a vertical line. So what do you do in this case? We will see how they combine to form conjunct consonants. In the textbook, as I told you, the l is given, the lakara is given in this set, but we have included it in the first set, and we will suppress the line and write just this portion of the l and combine it with the next consonant. So we have dealt with this in the first section itself. And l is also included here. We said that we are not going to be dealing with this now. We are going to ignore this letter. Then there is repha. Repha is one of these 9 consonants and it is going to get a separate treatment. So we will deal with it separately. As far as the other consonants are concerned, which do not have a vertical line, what happens is that in most cases, whether they appear as the first consonant or the second consonant in the combination, they do not undergo any change. So when you have t and t, you get t. How do you pronounce it? Not as t, t, t. You pronounce it as t. You just emphasize the t a little more when two of them appear next to each other. Then there is n, which belongs to this category, which has no vertical line. Yeah, so n has no vertical line. It is combining with g. What happens? The n is written as such without any change, and this g is written below the letter. N plus g, g. Then ch plus ch, ch. Here, the first one has a vertical line and it is the first in the set of consonants. So the vertical line is suppressed. But the second one belongs to the third category where there is no vertical line. It does not undergo any change in shape. It is written as such. Next is sh plus t. Here again, the first one has a vertical line which can be suppressed and it can be combined with the t. So it is t. So in either case, whether it appears as the first consonant or it appears as the second consonant, a consonant in this category, in most cases, does not undergo a change in shape. What happens when both the letters are in this category? Then in most cases, you write it one above the other. As in t plus t, t, d plus d, d, and t plus t, t. So this is how it is pronounced. One under the other is the way in which they are written if both are of the same type. And in most cases, when they appear as the first consonant, the second consonant undergoes a change in shape. For example, we know yakara has a vertical line. If it appears as the first consonant, you would have removed the vertical line. Now it is appearing as a second consonant, and that too after this t, which has no vertical line. So what do? It undergoes a change in shape. If you're able to see the difference between this yakara and this, you will understand that it does not start from the horizontal line above, but from the t itself. So this is pronounced as here. It plus here, here. This should actually be here. T plus here, here. Similarly, t plus here, here. Here also, the yakara has undergone a change in shape. In this, it is the third letter of the tavarga, the, when it combines with makara. See the change in shape of makara. It has not started from the horizontal line. It has started from the end of dakara. Whereas the dakara has remained as such, or more or less the same. It has not undergone any change in shape. Next, when the combines with v, we get dv. And here also the vakara has come under the dakara and the shape has changed. So whichever consonant combines with it, that consonant undergoes a change of shape, whereas those under this category remain the same. They don't change their shape. Now we come to Rebha. As far as Rebha goes, there is a separate treatment when it appears as the first in the set of consonants, in which case it appears as a curve above the horizontal line. So r plus k, r appears first. R is the first in the set of consonants. It has become this curve above the k. So how do you pronounce this? R plus k, r k. And r plus j, r j. How do you know this is r? This curve above is the first rebha, which is preceding this jakara. So r j and r k. This is the way in which you write rebha when it appears in a SamuktAkshara as the first consonant. Now, when it appears as the subsequent consonant, two things can happen. Either it can become a slanting line under the next consonant, as in this case, k plus r, kr, ch plus r, chr, m plus r, mr. Now, this is one possibility. The other possibility is, here also it is a slanting line, where in Hakara, the slanting line has come within the Hakara itself and not below it. So here, because of the shape of Hakara, it permits it to be, give the slanting line within it as a hr. So h plus r is hr. In this case, with ch, what happens? It becomes two slanting lines below. Ch plus r is chr. H plus r is pr. Here it has become an angular, two slanting lines, angular lines below the next letter. These are the possibilities when Rebha or R appears as the second consonant in the SamuktAkshara. Now we are trying to scientifically analyze how the shape changes in different combinations. But these are not watertight compartments. These are not very hard and fast rules. These are just guidelines. As you read more, as you become familiar with the script, you will understand this automatically. But these are some broad guidelines to help you initially to identify which letters have undergone what kind of a shape. Then the fourth type is where the consonant combination undergoes a completely different, it gets a completely different shape. It is unrecognizable. We saw it earlier. J plus nya, chnya, h plus sh, sh, sh plus v. Normally what we would have done for sh, it has a vertical line. We would have suppressed it and written it as sh plus v, v. Just this symbol without the line and v we would have written. But alternatively, this is also, that form is also right, but this is another form. You must be familiar with this as well, so that when you see it in a book, you will be able to identify it as sh and v. Somebody had written to me asking if which sh is this, because it comes in Vishwam, in Vishnu Sahasranama. We get it as Vishwam, Vishnu, right? So the first word is Vishwam, where we get sh and v, and it will be written like this. Then we get sh and r, shra. Now the r has become a slanting line as it normally does, but the sh is not the sh which we normally write. The line, vertical line, is not suppressed. Again, it has undergone the same change in shape as in shwa. It is written with a loop like this, with a repa symbol as a following consonant, as a slanting line. So these are some examples where there are unique changes in the shape. Now, ha combined with na. Sometimes the na is written within the ha like this, or sometimes the middle part of the hakara is written as a straight line, and it is elongated to represent that it is just the pure consonant and not ha. Otherwise, you would read it as han. You should not read it as han. You should read it as hna, because it does not have any vowel following it. You read it as hna. Another thing which undergoes a change in form is the ik and the. The possibility of ik, where that slight extension is there beyond the vertical line, and then writing the is also correct. That is also the correct form. But here, this is a special shape that is assigned to this combination. K plus the can also be written as k and in this shape. Okay, there is a horizontal line, and then almost the shape of the kakara is written. So let us summarize these guidelines which we have seen for SamuktAksharAs one more time. The first set has a vertical line for which, if it appears as the first consonant, the vertical line is suppressed. Second is when there are strokes on either side, you suppress a portion on the right hand side to show that it is a pure consonant. So ik plus n, kn. Next, the consonants of the third category do not undergo any change in most cases, they remain intact. T plus y, here. The other consonant only undergoes a change in shape. Then for repha, when it appears before, it becomes a curve above the horizontal line, and when it is the second in the consonant combination, it becomes a slanting line, or as I told you, it can also be two slanting lines as angular lines below the next consonant. And of course, there are special forms like sh, nya, shwa, shwa, and krita, as we saw. So I would suggest that you go through the video one more time after it is uploaded and familiarize yourself with the different SamuktAksharAs and practice writing them as they are given in the textbook. The textbook has many combinations. It is not possible to give all the combinations because all possible combinations do not find application in words. So the commonly used ones are given in the textbook. So please familiarize yourself with those by writing it one or more times and become familiar with it. Now, I will first check if there are any questions at this stage before we proceed. T plus r, t combined with repha gets two slanting lines below. Somebody wants to know, can I get the textbook in your website? Yes, the downloadable link is available, but the physical copy you have to contact Samskritasri. The details are all given in the course page itself. Replace English with Sanskrit in the above question. Why nya sounds different in Hindi and in English? In Sanskritam. Nya. Yeah, the nya, the SamuktAkshara with j and nya gets the sound nya, as in jnanam. It should actually be, the j sound should actually be heard. That is the correct way of pronouncing it. Under it, similarly, the. So the slanting line below comes only when there is a repha following. So like k plus ra, kra, and sh plus ra, shra. So you should hear the ra sound afterwards. So somebody wants to know the difference between sh and s. The first sh is pronounced more with the soft palate or the base of the tongue touching the soft palate. Sh. And this sh or the murdhanya shakara or the second sh in the sibilants has to be pronounced by rolling your tongue and touching the hard palate. Sh. You roll your tongue well and touch your hard palate with it, you will be able to pronounce the shakara. The first one is used in words like shankara, shantihi, etc. And the Mudhanya Shakara is used in Shanmukha, such words. Okay. Now, there are some very similar looking forms when consonants are combined with each other. So we will look at them so that you don't get confused when you see them in the textbook. The first is the plus ya. This is the special shape that is given for the combination the plus ya. In the ya, this is what happens. The shape becomes like this. And id and the same letter is repeated twice, the and the. This is the shape it gets. So the first the is written, and below that itself the second the is also written. This is the shape. These are all similar looking shapes, so you might get confused. When the and the vowel r, this is not a SamuktAkshara, this is a Untitled. There is the consonant the, and then there is the r kara. You have r. So the r is written below the, and this also looks very similar. So when you write it without this loop, it is dr. Next is t and r. It is tr. The rikara is represented by the small c, and then there is t, which is a slightly bigger c. So this is how you identify. So all these shapes are very similar. While writing, you should be careful, and also while reading, and that's how you'll be able to identify which is the what are the component consonants, or whether it is a component consonant and a vowel, which is formed a Untitled. So we will have some reading practice. At this stage, you may not be fully thorough with the letters. It is okay. I would recommend you to try as much as you can. It's okay if you make mistakes. So please don't refrain from trying. If you're willing to answer, you can raise your hands. I will lower all the hands. Okay. Okay, I will go ahead then. K. Kaveri.
Ram Ram.
Ram Ram. Can you read this? Dhya.
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 Pra.
Yes.
Tha. No,
So-
1 minute. Ta.
This is k and t. Actually,
Ta.
I have given the symbol below because otherwise the font was prompting me to the new shape I had introduced. You remember in the special forms, ik and the gets a special shape. So that's why I had to put the halanta, the symbol below, the slanting line below. Okay. The next is
This is la plus ka.
E plus.
Il plus ka. So look.
Ilka.
Sorry.
Ilka.
Lika. Okay.
Yes. Ilka. Then
Sha plus ta. Shta.
shta. Yes. Correct.
Shta.
Very good.
This is ta plus ta. Ta. Is that right?
Yeah. That's right. Th. Good. Next.
Dwa.
Yes. The plus the dva. Very good. Thank you. Lalita 2610.
Namaste, madam.
Ram. Namaste. You. Ha. I didn't hear you properly. Can you repeat?
It ma. So tma.
Good.
Ksha.
Ksha.
D. Shabd. D.
Yes.
Ch. Kya.
Kya. Yes.
Ma.
Ma.
Hra.
Just give me a minute. Khra. Right. The Repha symbol, a slanting line has come within the Hakara.
D.
This is the. That is the third letter of Tavarga. The combined with G. Third letter of the Kavarga. G.
Okay. D.
G. Yes. Thank you very much. Dhanyavada. Malini Kumar. Will you be able to try? You're self-muted. Malini Kumar. Okay. Malleshwari Bangara.
Okay, Ram Ram.
Ram. Yeah. One more. Yeah.
Tva.
Tva. T plus va. Tva.
N plus da. Dna. No. Nda.
Nda. Correct.
Chra.
Yes. Chra.
Nya. In Gnanam.
Nya. Jnya.
Gna. Rma.
This is Sakara. The first consonant is S, and then we have Ma. So it is Sma.
Ma.
Sma. Yes. Very good.
Shwa.
Shwa. Just give me a minute.
Cha.
Yeah, this is ch plus ch, ch. So you emphasize the ch. That's it. Next.
Ga.
N
Ga.
plus g.
Ga.
N plus g. Nga. Good.
Ga.
Very
Dhanyavad.
good. Thank you so much. Dhanyavad. Okay. There is another exercise. We'll complete this, even though time is almost up. We will complete this exercise, and if I will unmute you if you're willing to answer. You please raise your hands. Muralidhara Subramanya. Can you tell me the consonants in this combination? We're unable to hear you, sir. You're unmuted, but we can't hear you. Okay. I'm sorry, sir. Ninad Rajesh. Is self-muted. Ninad Rajesh. Nirmala Krishnan. Nirmala Krishnan, you are also self-muted.
Namaste.
Namaste, Ram Ram.
Ram Ram. Dwa.
This has Dakara.
Age.
Sorry?
Age. Age
I don't
plus
the plus the. So it is the. The plus the. Okay. This is
yeah.
This is k plus sh. The
Sh.
first consonant. K plus sh.
Sure.
Yes.
Dear.
Thya. First one is a Mahaprana letter. Th plus ya. Thya.
Dear.
Yes. Just a minute. Yeah. That's all in this row. Dhanyavadaha. Very good. Thank you. Pappu Shobha Latamani.
Yes.
Ram Ram.
Ram, madam.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
this is not the Mahaprana, so it's just the and ya.
Yeah.
Ya.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
L.
Yes. So here we would have normally expected the vertical line to go away and love to be written next to it. That is also a correct way of writing it. But you also find it in this form in some places where k and l are combined in this manner and they are written one under the other.
Okay.
Is it?
La.
Yes.
Na.
Na. Yes. Where hakara and nakara.
Nakara.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Phalguni Someshwar.
Namo Namah Mahodaya.
Naman. Ram.
Ram Ram. Urk, Ra and
Yes.
Go.
Yes. Very good.
Tma. T plus Ma.
T plus ma. Tma. Yes. Very good.
I'm sorry. Dra, is it? I don't.
Yeah. This is just two dakaras together.
Okay. Da.
The third the of the tavarga, third consonant of the tavarga is repeated twice. The plus the.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dhanyavadaha. Okay. So the homework for this class will be to write out the SamuktAksharAs as given in the textbook, practice writing them, and also find out the components of the conjunct consonants given below. It is the ones which we had seen in class. I had just asked you all to pronounce it. I would want you to write the different consonants which have gone into the making of this combination, each of these combinations. That will be the homework for the next class. So we will, if there are any questions for just 5 minutes, I can take those questions and then we can close the class. Why? Can I get the textbook? Okay. Somebody wants to know where the class videos are uploaded. I had shown in the last class. If you just look at the videos, you will find them both in YouTube and as well as in the course page itself. In that, I would have shown you the exact place in the website, Samskritasri Pathamala, where you find these, all the course contents. You will find the video, the audio, just the audio recording of the entire class. You will find the all the slides in PDF format, as well as the homework, whether it's an audio file or the homework which is given as part of the slides. Everything will be in, there is only one place you have to look for. Everything you have to get only from the course page relating to this. I'm sorry, there are a lot of questions, but if I'm not able to answer all of them, you can always email me. Somebody wants to know if they can learn from the posting in the website. That's absolutely fine. You can learn in whichever mode that is comfortable for you. Tra is not a Gunitakshara. Somebody wants to know if tra is a Gunitakshara. Tra is t and r. Both are consonants. A Gunitakshara will have t plus r. R is a vowel, whereas r is not a vowel, it is a consonant. So when two consonants combine, it is a SamuktAkshara. Somebody wants to know if the cha mahaprana and the double alpa prana cha are the same. They are not, because you're just emphasizing the alpa prana chakara, cha, that's all. You're not exhaling air for the pronunciation of the double chakara. Whereas for cha, you don't have to stress that much. You just have to exhale through the mouth or let out more air through the mouth for pronouncing cha. How will I decide which letter comes first? We don't decide. The decision is based on the spelling of that particular word. So if the word has a pa before and la after, we say pla. If it has a la and then a pa, we'll say lpa. For example, in alpa prana, we have e and pa. And in plover, we have p and l. Pl. The homework is that you have to write your SamuktAksharAs as in the textbook, as well as the letters which are given in the slide. You have to find out the component consonants that have gone into the making of those combinations. 7.1 homework will be posted in the course page along with the contents of all the slides, maybe in a day or two max. Okay, we will stop here and we will recite the Shanti Mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Dhanyavadah. Shubharatrihi. Punarmilamaha. We will meet on Tuesday by God's grace.